This was me 3 months ago, a little sugar addict with no life, no job, and no friends. Until I tried the
30-day sugar challenge.
Okay, seriously though, this was the best thing that I've ever done for myself. It feels like food manufacturers put sugar in everything these days. You want cereal? Sugar. You want some bread? Sugar. And a whole bunch of shit that I can't even pronounce. You want some supposedly healthier crisps? Sugar. You want some plant milk? Sugar. And again, a whole lot of shit. I'm looking at you, Alpro. And of course, all your packaged meals and foods. Sugar. So in this video, you're going to see me attempt the no sugar challenge, and I'm going to give you loads of tips, and stick around to the end where I give you loads of recipes to try. Okay, what is good guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm Max if you're new around here, and today we're talking about sugar and how to beat sugar addiction. I'm going to give you loads of tips on how to beat cravings, because I've now gone over 3 months without any sugar in my diet. Now, when I say no sugar, I'm talking about added sugars, unhealthy ones such as cane sugar, sugar beets, glucose syrup, corn syrup. But of course, I'm still eating fruits and vegetables. And you'll see I am also having a little bit of agave syrup or maple syrup, just because this is less of a refined sugar. It's sort of refined sugar free. It's still a free sugar because it's in syrup form, but it's much, much better than having these refined cane sugars and corn syrups. And that just helps me like sweeten my drinks, like cacao and matcha, because the purpose of this isn't to avoid sugar completely. You know, we do need sugar in our diets, it's how we get energy. It's just to be mindful and to beat the cravings, because God, I used to eat an ungodly amount of sugar and snacks and sweets that's just not healthy. Yeah, so the purpose of this video is not to avoid sugar completely and like live miserably, because it's almost impossible to avoid sugar completely these days, especially if you go out for a restaurant. Restaurants put sugar in almost every dish. Like 90% of what you eat at a restaurant will have sugar in it, especially if it has any sauces or dressings on there. It's going to have sugar in it. So this video is just more about being mindful of the sugar that you're eating, how to beat cravings, and simple swaps that you can make. So let's get into it. So yeah, like I say, we do need sugar in our diet. We'll predominantly get this from carbohydrates. So when you eat a potato, for example, it'll convert that carbohydrate down into glucose, which your body will use for energy. So yeah, we want to be getting our sugars from fruits and vegetables. When you eat a banana, for example, or an apple or potato, these are loaded with fiber, which are really going to slow the absorption of the sugar in those foods into the bloodstream. So you're not going to get a spike in blood sugar levels. Whereas if you're eating any free sugars from syrups or any of these names, these are just going to spike the blood sugar levels because there's no fiber in those. It's just going to go straight into the bloodstream. You'll get a shot of insulin. And yeah, that's why you'll get those sugar highs and sugar crashes. As you can see, there's a lot of names that food manufacturers like to hide sugar as. There's even more obscure names that I didn't even include on this whiteboard, so I do encourage you to have a look for yourself. But yeah, we've got cane sugar, obviously, and then corn syrup, or in America, you usually find high fructose corn syrup or high fructose glucose syrup, which is really bad for you, by the way. Like, it's no wonder that Americans are rather obese. They're kind of set up to fail. Then we've got dextrose, fructose, caramel, ethyl maltol, sucrose, and yeah, the list just goes on and on. Yeah, I really encourage you to look at food labels when buying products. Now, I've tried cocaine and sugar, and let me tell you, sugar is more addictive. It's like a drug, and it's not surprising because we get a dopamine hit every time we eat something with sugar, and you know, we associate sugar with pleasure and rewards. Okay, so I actually filmed the first month of me trying to go sugar free, and you'll see it is a tough, tough challenge. I failed many times, and yes, let's roll the footage. Okay, so day one is a fail. I will start again tomorrow. I couldn't resist in the supermarket. I got tempted. Damn it. Yeah, for some reason I got 3 of these. I don't know why. And one of these fruit and nut bars are just so good. This is going to be a hard challenge. Okay, so we are back on day one again today after yesterday's slip. Yeah, I can't believe I ate them all in one go. My skin is really not looking great. It's looking like greasy and breaking out on my face, and my back is getting like covered in spots now, so I really need to take this challenge seriously because I know that it's doing this because of the sugar. Really looking forward after 30 days to seeing how much like my skin will have improved. Yesterday was successful. It was the first day that I haven't had any sugar for a long time, so I feel fantastic. I ate a lot, which sounds bad, but I did eat a lot so that I didn't feel like I needed a dessert. Just the hardest part is not buying it in the shops. If I had chocolate lying in the house, I probably would have just grabbed that yesterday and eaten it. I went to the shops yesterday to get coconut milk, and I accidentally got this as well. I mean, at least it's coconut sugar and not actual sugar, but well, coconut sugar is still sugar, isn't it? But it's refined, sugar-free. But back to day one. I was really, really craving sugar though yesterday. Like, I felt like my blood sugar was really low. So I caved. Cravings are so hard, man. Oh, chocolate orange, my fave. These are so good as well. I actually didn't have any sugar yesterday, so I was craving some chocolate today, so just went to the shops and bought some, but yeah, this is not going too well. Yeah, fuck me. This is all just from a few days. It's just so much sugar though. Kind of makes me feel sick. Anyway, it's day 2 today, so I'm just gonna throw away all this shit so it's just out of the house, and then I'm just never gonna buy anything like this ever again. Like, fingers crossed. I was so tempted just to go into this shop then to get some chocolate, but I'm on day 3 now, so God, that was hard to resist. I'm just gonna have a cacao as soon as I get in. Okay, this is my cacao recipe using 100% ceremonial grade cacao from Peru. Firstly, measure out half a cup of water and half a cup of barista oat milk. I'm using Khalifa Farms. And then you can just melt the large chunks of the cacao paste straight away, or you can chop it into these fine shards like I'm doing here, which is really satisfying and it'll help it melt a bit quicker. Yeah, this is so good. Then pour your milk mixture into a pan, and then I'm going to add in just a little bit of agave syrup and some vanilla extract. And I'm also adding in just a pinch of cayenne pepper, which helps the absorption. Add your raw cacao, and just give that a whisk on a low heat until that's all melted in. By the way, agave syrup does not spike blood sugar levels. Sometimes our bodies may only be craving chocolate for the magnesium and the bliss molecule. And yeah, we want to get that from plant medicine instead of processed sugar-filled chocolate bars. And then pour that into your mug. And then enjoy your raw cacao. Like a massive spot on my nose. I don't know why they always come up there. It's so annoying. I look like freaking reindeer or something. That's probably because it's like day 6 now. Sorry, this mirror is like terrible. Yeah, because I haven't had sugar for so long, sometimes that'll just break out. It's just really annoying place to have a spot. Hey, what are you doing in my fridge? That's so bad. I bought this, it's a wasabi thing. Like, totally forgot about the challenge. And there is sugar. Per pack there's 24 grams of sugar. That's quite a lot. Yeah, that's like half or a bar of chocolate worth of sugar in there. So I don't know what to do. Okay, fine, I'll go back to day 1. Chances have not been going well, if we can say that. Yeah. I was at a party the other night as well, and I didn't actually have any like chocolate or sweets or anything, but I had rum and coke, and I was like, oh shit, wait, there's sugar in the coke. So yeah, that didn't work. I rarely ever drink fizzy drinks. It's only in that sort of situation that I would do that. Because to be fair, like sugar's not that bad. It's just we refine it. But at the end of the day, it does come from a plant. But we just eat way too much of it so that it becomes bad. So yeah, I'm determined to get back on track and start this challenge again from today. So it is day one again. So for this challenge to work, I'm really gonna need to eat clean. I eat clean anyway, but I'm gonna need to eat just really clean, like salads, pure like vegetables, and cook everything from scratch really, so I know what's going in it. So I am actually looking forward to that because yeah, it's shocking what they put in some of this stuff, man. Day 4, day 4, day 5. It's day 8, bitches. Day 9, and a double rainbow. All right, guys, we're on gay. I was gonna say gay 10. All right, guys, we're on day 10. I'm actually feeling so good. I feel like really mentally good as well. Like you forget how negatively sugar can affect your mental health too. So on the greens smoothie, a minute. It's easy now. I've got this. I feel like I've been doing it for a good couple of weeks now. So easy. I'll just whiz through the rest of the days until we're near in the end, unless I've got any updates I need to share. But day 10, feeling freaking fantastic. I think I look pretty good as well. Oh, I look good. Day 12, day 13, day 15, day 16, day 17. Okay, we're at day 18. I was doing like a little film every day, and I think I did it for like over a month. And then I just totally forgot to film myself after that. So now we're here over 3 months later. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I feel so much healthier. It was really tough at the start because you'd feel really lethargic. And I felt my blood sugar levels like drop. Sometimes I'd feel a bit woozy. The cravings were so intense. That's why I kept failing, especially going to the supermarket. It was hard to resist putting a chocolate bar in, I'm not gonna lie. But that is one of the biggest things, is just not having sugar in the house. If you can resist buying it in the supermarket, so you haven't got sugar lying around the house, that is a big W. They say it takes, what, like 21 days or 28 days to form a new habit. And so, yeah, I just didn't crave it anymore after that, which was amazing. Yeah, my taste buds have changed now. I can eat something like sweet and it'll just totally put me off. And yeah, I never thought that I would be craving healthy foods so much, like craving fruit and craving salads. That freshness that you get from like biting into a tomato is just so good to me right now. I do not want fast food like ever again. So what happened to me when I started is that I swapped the craving for the sweets into craving for the fruit. So I would eat like a lot of fruit just to get that same sugar hit. Yeah, so be careful when you start, not just to swap one bad thing for another. Like crisps don't have any sugar in, but I'm not telling you to go and swap all your chocolate bars out for crisps. It's better if you just avoid the snacking completely, because that's why intermittent fasting has become so popular. If you let the body like rest without eating, then once it finishes digesting, it'll start to work burning down some fat and work on repairing cells and stuff. Okay, now we'll get into the first tip, which is great when you're starting off, which is dates. These are one of the most densely like sugar packed fruits that you can find. So if you are feeling like you need an energy boost, you can just grab a couple dates. If you want like a calorie bomb, open it up, fill it with some almond butter, and that is delicious. Dried fruit is also really nice, but that fruit sugar is going to be really concentrated, so just watch out for that. But if you got the choice between like a pack of these dried mangoes or some candy, it's definitely going to be better to choose the dried mango rather than a packet of sweets, for example. Oh yeah, next is what I like to call the Diet Coke trap. You might think, oh well, Diet Coke's not got any sugar in it, right? Um, but they're just replacing the sugar with sweeteners, which can at times be worse than the sugar themselves. I always say it's better just to have a normal Coke rather than Diet Coke. Well, it's better to have no Coke at all. But the aspartame in the Diet Coke is, well, I think there's purposely a lack of research on that. It has been shown to cause cancer and like brain damage, and we don't really know what it does. I had a sweetener by accident once called maltitol. and that gave me the worst stomach cramps ever. So avoid that one. I did some research, and I believe the best ones, which are coming just like directly from plants and which don't spike your blood sugar levels, are stevia and xylitol. But still, don't just consume too much sweeteners because they are going to have that same effect in the brain as sugar, because your brain can't tell the difference between sweetener and sugar. Another tip that helped me was to brush my teeth after eating, because you don't really feel like having a dessert when you've got that minty mouth feeling after brushing your teeth. And usually you brush your teeth like at night before bed, and it just signals like to stop eating, we're done. I had the habit as well of eating sugar whilst watching the TV. So if you just swap up your routines a bit, I stopped watching the TV after dinner. So after finishing work, I would always crave sugar just to help reduce the stress. And sugar actually helps turn down that stress response. And I don't need to use these anymore, but what helped at the start were these sugar stress capsules. Yeah, there's no chemicals in these. It's just rhodiola, coenzyme Q10, and a couple of other things that are natural ways at helping you cure those stress-related cravings. And then obviously this is the most straightforward tip, but just make your own food, because store-bought food, it's scary how much sugar they put into everything. Like everything apart from fruit and veg basically has sugar in it. There are a few good products out there. Like I've been eating this bowl meal from the supermarkets, which I found to just have really clean, healthy ingredients in. If I don't feel like cooking, I'll just go for one of those. You can add a bit of tempeh in there or do whatever you like. And yeah, it makes a really great meal when you can't be bothered to cook. No sugar in there. Otherwise, I am just making my own food from scratch, which is perfect. I'm eating so much healthier and cleaner. And a good tip is to make your own pasta sauces, because the cans of pasta sauce, again, are going to have loads of sugar in there. But you can just make your own for much cheaper if you just get a tin of tomatoes and add your own herbs and spices to those. So the one takeaway from this video is that sugar is everywhere, but don't be afraid of it. Just be mindful of what you're consuming. Try to make those easy swaps so that you're avoiding a lot of these sugars and you're getting more of these good sugars into you. And yeah, try and go more for more refined sugar free. You know, if you don't want to go completely sugar free, make that swap from a regular chocolate bar to one of those brands like Hue or On Bar, which uses coconut sugar instead. It's much better for you. And if you're like me, you probably used sugar as a form of comfort food when you were mentally very depressed. But it really doesn't help in the long run, especially because I just felt so guilty every single night because I had consumed so much sugar, which I knew wasn't good for me. And it just got into that vicious cycle. Those guilty thoughts are just completely gone out of my mind now. I go to bed feeling fantastic, that I've gone another day without sugar, and that I'm getting healthier, and that I haven't spent like another £10 on chocolate and sweets. This is my new way of life now. I just feel so much better. I've got so much energy, so much more productive, saving money, burning belly fat. Yeah, and like you see, I'm not completely avoiding sugar. I am having a little bit of agave syrup or maple syrup here and there just to sweeten up my drinks and things, which is absolutely fine. The main thing is that I'm not buying any sugary snacks and that I've cured my sugar addiction. I think it is a good idea just to try and cold turkey it and see how you find it yourself. It's a good challenge to try the 30 days. Okay, now I'm going to get into some of the recipes that I've made. Okay, so usually this is the breakfast that I make every day. I start by adding some oats to a bowl, then add the granola. This one from Bio and Me has really clean ingredients that you can see. Yeah, it's full of nuts, fruits, veg, and seeds, and it contains absolutely no sugar. And some flaxseed. Then I'm adding some vegan vanilla protein powder. Then I'm adding in some mixed berries and some chopped banana. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some cinnamon and a good drizzle of almond butter. And then I'm just going to pour on some coconut milk. And yeah, that is a really nutritious, easy breakfast to make. Okay, so yeah, this is a super simple breakfast that you can make with no sugar and really nutritious as well. It is criminal how much sugar that they put into breakfast cereals, especially ones for kids. and granolas too are just absolutely loaded with sugar. That's why I'm using that Bio and Me granola, which has no added sugar whatsoever. So that's a really good one. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Okay, next we're going to be making my go-to salad, which I have pretty much every day, or a variation of it every day. So firstly, we're just going to get a sweet potato and chop into chunks. I chop it into circular discs and then just cut this into 4 to make little triangles. I'm going to drizzle on some olive oil and season with salt, pepper, sumac, and smoked paprika. Yeah, and then roast these for about 25 minutes in the oven. Then I'm going to chop up some tempeh. If you didn't know, tempeh is fermented soybean, and it has more protein than chicken, and because it's fermented, it's really good for the gut. And there's enough tempeh here for about 3 salads, which is great. And then into a pan, just heat up some olive oil and sesame oil, and mix the tempeh in. Here I'm adding some veg bouillon powder, or you can add some veg stock. And I'm adding in lots of turmeric and black pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder or onion granules, some smoked paprika, and a little bit of cumin. And give that a stir. This spice mixture gives it kind of like a chicken seasoning flavour. It's really nice. Then I'm going to add in a bit of water, and you can simmer this for about 5 minutes, and eventually the water will evaporate and you'll get a lovely sauce coating the tempeh there. Next, chop up some cucumber, tomato, some spring onion, and also just a wedge of lemon. And then into a bowl, add some washed salad leaves. Here I'm adding in some red and white quinoa. And then yeah, just top that with your cucumber slices, tomato, spring onion. And I'm going to add a drizzle of olive oil, balsamic vinegar, some pink Himalayan sea salt, black pepper, onion granules, and some mixed herbs. Then I'm going to add some sweet corn. If you don't like any of the ingredients, you can easily just swap it out for whatever you fancy. Next, I'm adding some avocado, then add your tempeh pieces, then add your sweet potato. Okay, finally, I'm just going to drizzle this with some tahini and a good dollop of hummus. And I'm sprinkling a bit of sumac on top of the hummus there. And there we go. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Okay, so that is my super healthy salad. No sugary salad dressings needed. It tastes absolutely delicious. It's like a rainbow salad. We've got so much going on here. You know, we've got good grains from the quinoa, we've got carbohydrates from the sweet potato, protein from the tempeh, your leafy greens, good fats from the avocado and tahini. It's got everything that you need in one meal, and yeah, hope that you try this one out. And this salad is so easy to make into a Tupperware box, so you can take this into work and know that you always have a really healthy lunch. It's also pretty cheap to make as well. It's going to be much cheaper than buying lunch out every day. Our next recipe is nice cream. Yes, this is ice cream made from frozen bananas, which actually tastes way better than it sounds. So into a food processor, add 2 frozen bananas, then I'm adding in 6 cubes of frozen coconut milk, and I'm also adding just a dash of coconut milk to help my blender out. And then I'm adding just a dash of agave syrup and some vanilla extract. Also adding some vanilla protein powder. So you can make it whatever flavour you like. For this one, I'm making matcha ice cream. I'm going to sieve in the matcha there. I'm using about 2 scoops of matcha, which made quite a strong flavoured matcha ice cream, which is just how I like it. Okay, and then off she goes. Yeah, my blender is pretty crap. I wouldn't mind if someone bought me a Vitamix. This just took about a good few minutes of blending, and then you're left with this beautiful, bright green matcha ice cream, which is actually so delicious. Okay, this next recipe is just a simple tomato pasta sauce, because the ones that you buy from the stores have a lot of unnecessary sugar in there. Into a pan, add 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, Then add in some veg bouillon, some pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm adding turmeric and black pepper more so just for health reasons rather than for taste. But whenever I can, I always like to add in turmeric and black pepper to recipes just for that cancer killing properties. Better to get on the preventative measures whilst you're young so that I don't ever get cancer, right? Next, I'm adding in some onion granules and some garlic powder, or you could use fresh garlic, and some smoked paprika and some mixed herbs. And then this is totally optional, but I like to add a bit of tahini, which helps give it some nice flavour and thicken up the sauce a bit. And then just continue to stir that over a low heat for a few minutes, and you've got a perfect pasta sauce, or you can use this on whatever dish you fancy. But it's, yeah, really tasty. Alright, next we're going to be making some quesadillas, or you can make these into fajitas, whatever you fancy. Firstly, chop half a red onion. I like quite big chunks of onion, so this is how I'm cutting my onion up. And make sure you use a sharp knife so that you don't cry. Next, I've got 2 cloves of fresh garlic, and then chop into fine chunks. We're just going to finely dice this. Next, chop off the head of your pepper and remove the core and the seeds. And then just chop your pepper into fine strips. Okay, heat some olive oil in a pan and start frying off your onions. We're going to get these nice and caramelized before adding in the rest of our ingredients. Then once the onions have cooked for a few minutes, we'll add in our garlic and pepper. Drain and rinse a can of black beans and add this to the pan. Add in some smoked paprika, turmeric, a couple of chili flakes, black pepper, and pink Himalayan sea salt. And add about a tablespoon of tomato puree and give that a mix. And this smells divine when frying this. Okay, then add 1 tin of chopped tomatoes and continue to stir. After about 5 minutes or so, add in a couple of handfuls of spinach leaves. Then once the spinach has wilted, we can just move this onto another ring and keep on a very low heat whilst we heat up our tortillas. I'm just going to fry the tortilla for a couple of minutes on each side just to warm it up. Then I'm going to add some avocado, our black bean mixture, some nutritional yeast, and then just fold that into whatever shape you like. I'm making a sort of quesadilla here. And I'm going to top that with some fresh coriander or cilantro for my American viewers. And yeah, this recipe is also like packed full of protein from the black beans there as well. You can also pop that into the oven and make like a hot pocket sort of thing. Okay, and finally the last recipe, refined sugar-free chocolate. So heat a small amount of water in a pan and place on top a glass bowl. This is called a bain-marie. We don't want the glass bowl to be touching the water, and we also don't want any water in the glass bowl. Any water touching the chocolate will cause the chocolate to seize. So add 1 cup of cacao butter into the glass bowl. Whilst that's melting, you can measure out 2/3 of a cup of cacao powder. And again, make sure to use raw cacao powder, not cocoa powder. Okay, and then once your cacao butter has melted, you can take that off the heat and add in your cacao powder and give that a good whisk. How good does that look? So again, I like to use the agave syrup, which does not raise blood sugar levels or insulin, but again, we don't want to use too much of it, and this chocolate recipe really doesn't need too much. I'm using 6 teaspoons, a dash of vanilla extract, and a pinch of sea salt. Then give that another stir. Now I'm making 2 types of chocolate. So my first one is going to be a salted almond butter bar. So into a Tupperware, I've just lined that with some parchment paper, and I'm pouring a thin layer of the chocolate out just to coat the bottom there. Then to the remaining chocolate, I'm adding in a good lot of freeze-dried cranberry pieces. These also have a nice natural sweetness to them. Then I'm pouring this mixture into some heart-shaped silicone molds. You can use whatever molds that you have, or just use another Tupperware box. Now I have done this before where I've been like spooning the mixture individually into each shape, which just takes so long, so I thought I'd just tip the whole mixture on top and let it run out into the molds. And then we're going to pop these into the fridge to set. It will take a good few hours for the chocolate to set. For the salted almond butter bar, once the chocolate has set, I'm just going to take that out of the fridge and add a thin layer of almond butter in there. Put that back in the fridge for another couple of hours, and then top with another layer of chocolate and some sea salt. So yeah, these are the chocolates, how they turned out. You can see some of the freeze-dried cranberry pieces in there. Wow, and then this is how my salted almond butter bar went. This looks insane. I've never made this before, so I'm gonna crack it. Ready? Whoa. Look at that. That is crazy. That looks so good. Looks like caramel, salted caramel. Okay, so I actually haven't made these chocolates in the whole time that I've been doing the challenge because I've been trying not to snack and I haven't felt like I've needed any chocolate actually. So yeah, really excited to try these. So good. That's ace. This just looks fucking amazing, this one. The salted almond butter bar. Oh, it's like gouging out and everything. That is the best thing that I've put into my mouth. But this is literally actually the nicest chocolate bar I think I've ever had. This is insanely better than any chocolate bar from the store. This is like so freaking good. I could sell that. You can never tell that this whole bar has probably only got like a couple teaspoons of agave syrup in it. So if you are looking for a healthier chocolate bar or dessert, give these a try because they're so good. So that's some good tips for reducing your sugar intake there. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. It's been really fun to make. I probably got like chocolate around my mouth. And I hope you've got some good tips from me there. Let me know if you try any in the comments. And yeah, I'd appreciate if you left a like on the video or give it a share, and that would really help me out. Thank you so much. Cheers. And then top your salad leaves with some quinoa. Then I'm adding on some quinoa.